Joining us now is Professor Emeritus for Harvard Law School, Newsmax analyst Alan Dershowitz. Welcome back to National Report. Thanks so much for coming on. Let's focus back on that deadline for the Department of Justice, if we could. It's today. Do you believe the DOJ could be unbiased in overseeing these documents that were taken from Mar-a-Lago?
Absolutely not. Let me give you a possible hypothetical. Let's assume that this so-called taint team, which are just prosecutors who have lunch every day with the other prosecutors who are trying the case. Let's assume the taint team prosecutors find a lawyer-client privileged email that has a smoking gun or really, really juicy anti-Trump material in it. Would any American trust that never to be made public, which lawyer-client privileges are not allowed to be made public? These, after all, are prosecutors who are going through the lawyer-client privileged information. No prosecutor should ever see anything that is lawyer-client privilege. It should, of course, go to a special master. Even that raises questions, because when I talk to a client, the understanding is nothing will be made public. I go to my grave with his secrets. Let me tell you, I could make $1 billion today writing books, disclosing all the secrets my clients have told me over the years. I cannot and will not do that. Why should the Justice Department have the ability to look through lawyer-client privilege information, decide what's privileged, and then promise us that they won't reveal it with a wink and a nod to the next prosecutor at lunch? It's absurd. I've been railing against these taint teams for 50 years. There's no justification for it, and the American public shouldn't stand for it.
The Trump team asking for that special master, that third-party figure to oversee all of the handlings of these documents here. Again, that hearing is set for Thursday. Do you think the judge would grant this?
I would hope the judge will grant it. Where's the American Civil Liberties Union? Where's the American Bar Association? They should all be seeking independent master instead of letting the Justice Department do this. I assure you, if these were Hillary Clinton's emails, the ACLU, the Bar Association, university professors would all be saying, oh my God, you can't let the Justice Department look at privileged material and then decide which to turn over to their fellow prosecutors and which to keep secret for the rest of their lives. It's just, it makes no sense at all. I hope the judge will be sensible and appoint the special master the way a judge in New York did with the Cohen case and the way other judges have done in the past.
So I can hear that you take issue with how this has been handled so far. But let me ask you about this. I know you're speaking to media outlets during this time. We want to get your take on it. According to the New York Post, you shared this remark saying that you see sufficient evidence to indict Trump in the affidavit. Could you explain what you meant there?
Of course. As the head chief judge of the New York Court of Appeals once said, prosecutors can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich. If it's in the District of Columbia, you can get them to indict a tuna sandwich. It's very easy to get an indictment. That's why you need prosecutorial discretion. I don't believe that Trump should be prosecuted based on what I've seen in the affidavit, because the evidence doesn't meet the two tests that should be met for a future potential candidate for president against the incumbent president. The Richard Nixon test: is there bipartisan support for this? Is the evidence so overwhelming that Republicans will agree? And the Hillary Clinton test: why is this case different from the Hillary Clinton case, where she was running for president and was not indicted for her mishandling of classified information? So I think there should not be an indictment, but of course there's enough to get an indictment. There's probably enough to get an indictment against you if people look hard enough, or anybody else. That's not the criteria, because the easiest thing in the world to get is an indictment.
What about the significance of where this is all happening? The investigation, of course, you've got all these agencies based out of Washington, but it's happening in Florida. Where might this case progress if it were to get to that point?
Oh, I guarantee you the Justice Department will bring an indictment in Washington, D.C., where 90% of the jury pool voted against Donald Trump. I voted against Donald Trump. I'm looking for an opportunity to vote against him for the third time. And I don't want me to be denied that opportunity by some attorney general or bureaucrat that tries to indict the opponent of the incumbent president. That's what happens in banana republics. That's what happens in a South American country where the dictator said, for my friends, everything, for my enemies, the law. We don't want the law to determine, that is, criminal prosecutions, unless they're warranted, to determine who runs for president. That should be decided by the American people in primaries and ultimately in the general election, not by an attorney general sitting in his office.
All right. And the AG, of course, signing off on that search warrant there, and then signing off, rather, on that the judge had approved. All right, let's pivot now to another story we're watching out of Washington. It has to do with the departure of an FBI agent, Timothy Thibault. Right now, the Washington Times with this report: top agent exits FBI amid charge of political bias, undermining Hunter Biden probe. They cite some unnamed sources there. But again, stemming back to Hunter Biden, his connections to that laptop, and even some business dealings that might have happened overseas. Chuck Grassley, he's responding to the story on Newsmax, telling us Mr. Thibault's blatant partisanship undermined the work and reputation of the FBI. This type of bias in high-profile investigations casts a shadow over all the Bureau's work that he was involved in, which ranged from opening an investigation into Trump based on liberal news articles to shutting down investigative activity into Hunter Biden that was based on verified information. Political bias should have no place at the FBI. The effort to revive the FBI's credibility can't stop with this exit. We need accountability, which is why Congress must continue investigating, and the Inspector General must fully investigate, as I've requested. How do you see this all playing out?
Well, I agree with that. I think there also has to be some judicial oversight, which is why I favor a special master rather than allowing the Justice Department to investigate itself and make its own determinations. I think the FBI took the right step by firing this guy if he really had allowed himself to engage in political bias, either in the handling of the Hunter Biden or Donald Trump matter. The FBI must be absolutely apolitical, above reproach. And there's great concern that there are at least some people within the FBI. We know about the Strzok emails who have a strong political bias. By the way, I don't think it's a bias in favor of Republicans or Democrats. I think it's a bias against Trump. I think it's very individual, and it's a bias I understand, but it has no place in the FBI or the Justice Department.
Professor Alan Dershowitz joining us this morning with his thoughts. We appreciate your time, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.